powered by Riverside.
Very happy Monday or Tuesday, excuse me. I don't even know the day of the week. I'm so far behind. And welcome to another episode of the TNC Sports Talk. My name is Justin. Today is December 30th of 2025. And this is day 2. We got one more tomorrow. And then we will have a 4-day weekend before going back and resuming our 5 days a week program. So excited for 2025. What's to come of 2025 or 2026? Sorry, 2026. That's going to be the new adjustment that I have heading into the new year. I always have an issue separating myself from last year's to this year's. And as we head into the new year, that is one thing that I am trying to work on getting better for you guys. We talked about this, and something I've asked you guys to think about that I'm going to go ahead and jump on ahead at this time. I want you guys to think about heading into this new year and kind of reflect back on 2025, things that you took away in the sports world, whether it was the Eagles upsetting the Kansas City Chiefs, whether it was the Dodgers winning the World Series. What were your pivotal moments in the sports world, from baseball, football, hockey, basketball, wrestling, boxing, MMA, you name it? I kind of want to reflect back on that. We will do that on January 5th's episode of our show when we get back from our holiday break. But just kind of give me what you guys thought 2025, the key moments held. Also, this is the good time to start thinking about this, because in the month of January, we will be sharing with you what reports have concluded on top 5 wrestlers, top 5 female wrestlers, top 5 moments, our tops of 2025 in our professional sports. I think, when we get done with the football, just like every year, I want to give you my top 10 list of quarterbacks. So we will be able to do that. That kind of concludes the month of January. Heading into February, we have a lot of things moving ahead, and I can't wait to start talking about all of that moving forward. Let me see what else we have. All right. Also, we are at the end of the year. Coming up next season, Enlighten Studios are back at it again. They have not 1, but 8 scheduled performances of theater production they're expected to present throughout the year. Coming up on our first one is called Grassroots. It's about a black family who moved into a white neighborhood in the 90s. They have to deal with the community, with the struggles, with the troubles that come with a colored family moving into a white neighborhood in the 1950s. This is a theater production written and directed by Terry Chappell, a good friend of mine. I've done a lot of projects for him in the past. We will be working exclusively on a 2020 format for their social media platforms. I'm excited for the great opportunity, but if you haven't gotten a chance to go see Enlighten Studios productions, they are unimaginable. You have to be there for yourself. It's not the same than watching it on on YouTube or whatnot. You got to be in person. You got to be direct. It's very emotional, very heartfelt, very direct. They're speaking directly to you, and everyone that is involved with Enlighten Studios it's a growing matter. There's no individual success in this company. Everyone grows as a team, and we all move together. So 2026 has big plans. Grassroots is one of their big productions that's coming up February 20th through March 1st. Tickets are still available. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, I encourage you guys to get your tickets. A link in the description will be provided below. So get your tickets today, reserve your seats, and come out and enjoy. And let's have a good time. I will be there. Come say hi to me. I know I want to talk to you guys and get your thoughts and opinions on the product that is presented. So check them out as well. All right. So something interesting. I want to kick things off actually here. I think I deleted it. I don't know why I deleted it. Retype it out. I wanted to talk about Raw's recap from last night, the last Raw of 2025. We got a chance to see a few things. The ending of the show was, I think it took a twist to me, but I enjoyed it. But what were your thoughts of the last Raw of 2025? We saw new tag team champions as Jimmy and Jey Uso beat AJ Lee and AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. We saw Stephanie Valkyrie successfully defend her Women's World Heavyweight Championship against Raquel Rodriguez and Nikki Bella. We saw Austin Theory pick up a victory over Rey Mysterio. We saw a back and forth between Maxine Dupree and Becky Lynch. But I wanted to start things off back around to the Vision. They opened up Raw Monday night. And they're kind of like the hot topic right now in the WWE is this Vision. And especially since Austin Theory, who revealed himself as this mystery man a few weeks ago, has made it apparent to be a part of this Vision. And they opened up the show, and I noticed a few things. I don't know if you guys caught this, and I don't know if any of this played into Austin Theory's promo last night. But when Austin Theory was handed the mic, he said that he was waiting for this moment his entire career, that he was waiting his entire life for this opportunity, and he's glad that he's finally able to have this opportunity. And in the background of this moment, we saw Braun Breaker. I don't know if he broke character. I don't know if he was laughing over, because I was cringing myself when Austin Theory, it felt so corny and so cheesy to say, oh, I waited my entire career for this moment. And there's just something about Austin Theory that I'm struggling to see this new revivement in this image that ever since he came back. I am a fan of Austin Theory. I believed in Austin Theory when he came out, when he got that push by Vince McMahon. He had that elimination chamber scene where he got F5'd off the top of one of the pods by Brock Lesnar, beat John Cena at WrestleMania, or he faced John Cena at WrestleMania. And overall, I was always supportive of this Austin Theory movement. Now, hey, given credit, he's had to be well polished, well nurtured, and still going through developments in the WWE. But I was the one that believed that he's going to be the future of this industry. And there was something, I don't know that I see that now. I want to support him, but I'm struggling to support him. It's one of those things where you can only give someone so much time before you say, you know what, there's just not much more I can do with you. You're honestly untrainable. Now, I think he did well in his match against Rey Mysterio, but I feel like there's a, where he's placed at among, or where his position lies here among the Vision is questionable. He may be one of those guys that looks great on paper, looks great on TV, but when it's all said and done, falls flat from the outcome of what the Vision is supposed to provide. One thing that I've noticed, and maybe it's me overthinking things, I've noticed just through what I saw last night on Raw, is that Austin Theory plays a role that is supposed to be higher than Logan Paul and Bronson Reed, but he is not supposed to be above Braun Breaker. And I feel like the way he carries himself down to the ring last night, hey, I'm the leader, look at me, let me show off. He has this serious look, he has this vague look, he has that heel look, and I like that, but he has this look that, says, I don't give a crap. I'm where I'm at, at whether you like it or not. So I just feel at some point this may be something that conflicts with interest among the entire Vision. Now, up in the ring, he was standing front and center along with Braun Breaker as if they were side by side, as if they were equal, knowing that Braun has a World Heavyweight Championship match, and Austin did clarify that, look, Braun's going to go win that title next week, and that Austin himself, he went out, hey, I'm going to go beat Rey Mysterio. That's what he accomplished. Backstage, he's taking lessons. He's learning from, Paul Heyman. He's learning from Logan Paul, trying to find where he fits among this Vision. And so there's kind of, for me, I'm getting a mixed signal from where he actually does lie. And a lot of it has to do with this mystery man who was elevated above this group as their umbrella of success for just a few weeks. And now he's placed right in this group. There was one thing that Paul Heyman pointed out in their segment that I did gravitate to. Makes perfect sense, and I could see it. If it all pans out correctly, I see it happening. And that was that the four guys in the ring, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Braun Breaker, and Austin Theory, those four guys are the young next generation talent. They are going to be the guys who you look to replace and build to replace from Cody Rhodes, from CM Punk, from Seth Rollins, even Roman Reigns. This young core group is to be the future and main event and compete in WrestleMania's 5 years down the road. That is one thing. When you actually stop, you look at these four men, how young they are, how talented they are, how much potential they can be. They are guys who are playing are good enough to be the future of this industry, specifically in the WWE. So that's one thing Paul Heyman that said that I wholeheartedly believe in. And it's going, and if anyone can direct and polish these guys to be success, to be at the top of the WWE. Paul Heyman has done it to Brock Lesnar. Paul Heyman has done it to CM Punk. Paul Heyman has done it to Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman is that guy that is going to give them the best future possible as long as they are willing to learn, and willing to work hard at it. So maybe Austin Theory right now in this moment has some stuff that he needs to work on. Credited. But I feel like he's under the right wing in Paul Heyman. I think if he utilizes that, his work, and if he's adaptable and willing to learn from guys like Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, and whatnot, and they work together, I feel like this could be an image that people will see 5, 6, 7 years down the road. And isn't that what WWE that we have as fans have been talking about, has been begging WWE to start developing this talent, showcasing this young talent, so that, when Roman Reigns, as he's a part-timer, as he only shows up on selective dates, as Seth Rollins is healing, and look, he's not getting any younger himself, at some point, we got to have these new group of guys that are sliding in. And right now, trying to fit these in, it may not fit for what you guys want to see. I get that. But, the payoff is that these guys, it takes time for guys to get built in the industry. You're not going to walk right in and say, hey, I'm a heel or a face, and just be the top of your game. And one thing that the WWE has failed time and time again for the last 20 years is building talent. The last group of guys that I saw come through the WWE that had a successful career, that was young, talented, and made their way to the top was the Ruthless Aggression era, where you had John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, and Batista. All those other guys have mellowed out. So the guys like Carlito, well, he's no longer with the company. Guys like Kofi Kingston, well, he's just somewhere in the mix of the tag team division. Rusev left and now he's back. Sheamus is kind of in and out. He hasn't really grown since then. And those people are our latest people, and they're kind of already starting to, then you have those Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. They weren't those 20-year-old young guys. They've been around the wrestling world a few times, just haven't stopped at the WWE. That's what they did. And, now we're they've been in the industry for 10, 15 years now, in the WWE specifically. Now we got to look for those new set of guys to come in and build. And I don't know about you, but I think the timing's right. I think that we still have a few years left on Roman Reigns, on Seth Rollins, on Cody Rhodes, on CM Punk, on Drew McIntyre. I mean, Gunther, has years left on his career. But as those men start dying off, who are going to be replacing them at the top of that industry? Who's going to be the next top dog in the WWE? And trying to build that now, right now, I think all eyes are still on a Braun Breaker. But I don't think he's there yet. So, yeah, Paul Heyman says that those four guys in the vision that was in the ring last night, they are your future. And they are. And the same can be said about female wrestling. And that's something maybe on a different episode that we can dive deep into and really look. I'm not trying to sit here anymore. I used to sit here and say, well, who's your next Triple H? Who's your next Shawn Michaels? And who's your next Undertaker? That's not the purpose anymore. There's no who's your next. It's who are you and how do you play in this role of a prominent, successful WWE wrestling company? Part of that promo last night, Braun Breaker and CM Punk confronted each other. And this is where we're talking about Braun Breaker and his growth in the company. Despite his name and his family's history tying along to the wrestling world, Braun Breaker has lived up to the expectation. He has been nothing short from excellenceness And, you know, you don't see a lot of those, right? It took Cody Rhodes years to finally be able to paint that image of what his father's legacy left him. Same thing for Dustin. When it comes down to Dominic Mysterio, he's trying to paint that heritage of the Latinos, of Mexican wrestling, of lucha libre in the WWE. He's trying to, and he's getting there, but he's trying to re-emphasize, reiterate the work done by greats like Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. Braun Breaker held his own as he spent time last night talking about this Nepo. So I think another question that we may save for tomorrow, even Monday on January 5th, is going to be lurking around this match between CM Punk and Braun Breaker. I mentioned last week that the build-up to these two feuds between the World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE Championship almost shows you that you have to put the titles on the opponent's hands. The build-up for Braun, I would hate to see nothing. This build-up to be so dominant, to be so powerful, and yet when he gets a championship match, it gets taken away from him. Drew McIntyre has worked so hard for so long, has missed opportunities, and he's going to get his chance again just to fall flat. It does resonate a little differently, in my opinion. But Raw was a decent episode. Congratulations to Jimmy and Jey Uso. I thought there was going to be maybe a change in direction of Jey Uso and maybe a heel turn. But I think they become 9-time champions to their Hall of Fame resume. And I think, I don't know what this run has, but you start bringing the family back together, and I think that's where it belongs. So kudos to them. Alrighty, let's jump into the NFL. Week 18 is among us. Final week of football. We have 2 games on Saturday, the rest on Sunday, including a Sunday night football game between the Steelers and the Ravens. And things got a little bit more interesting after the result from last night's Falcons and Rams game. The Falcons beat the Rams 27-24. And although the Falcons may be eliminated from the playoffs, as they sit with a similar record to the Buccaneers, the Panthers sit at 8-8, leading the NFC South at the moment. The Buccaneers and the Falcons sit at a 7-9 record, with the Saints sitting at 6-10. But the Falcons' win last night, made things interesting heading into Week 18 for the NFC South. So we do know this weekend's matchup. On Saturday at 4:30, we have a highlighted treat as Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will face off each other. Carolina won the first meeting, and if Carolina wins this Saturday's game, they will automatically clinch the NFC South Division. So, in an outcome, if Carolina wins, then they have nothing to worry about. Tampa Bay has a lot against them because not only they need to handle business this Saturday and beat the Buccaneers, but they need to hope, if they could accomplish that, hope that the Falcons would lose to the New Orleans Saints. Yesterday I talked about it was going to come down to these two teams. I didn't consider the factor of the Atlanta Falcons, and I was promoting yesterday that the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was going to be a winner's take-all. Well, thanks to Atlanta, things have changed out as Tampa Bay not only needs to win on Saturday, but they need Atlanta to lose Sunday. If Atlanta wins Sunday and Tampa Bay wins Sunday, the NFC South will result in a 3-way tie, but Carolina will win the division. Here's the breakdown. Carolina is 8-8. They have on a head-to-head basis, they are 2-0. They are 3-0 against Atlanta and Tampa Bay. They are 2-0 against Atlanta, 1-0 against Tampa Bay, and they are 6-5 against conference. The Buccaneers are 7-9. They are 1-2 head-to-head competition. They are 1-1 against Atlanta, 0-1 against Carolina. Atlanta, they are 5-6 in conference. Atlanta is 7-9. Their head-to-head is 1-3, 0-2 for Carolina, but they're 1-1 against Tampa Bay. So, I think right now division standings, you have Atlanta, and I think you have Atlanta and, let me see here. I know the Panthers. I want college. I want the NFL. I was just trying to give you a perspective of what we're facing with it, of how we get to our results that we're explaining today. So division, Carolina's 3-2, Tampa Bay and Atlanta are 2-3, and the Saints are 3-2. So, like I said, if Carolina wins, then they win the NFC South. If Tampa Bay wins, they move to 8-9. They'd also move to a 3-3 divisional record. They'd also move to 1-1 against Carolina, 1-1 against Atlanta, and 1-1 against the Saints. If Atlanta wins, Atlanta will be 8-9. They would go head-to-head. They would become 0-2 against Carolina, 1-1 against Tampa, and 2-0 against the Saints. Their conference moves to 7-5. Carolina, if it ends in a 3-way draw, which that means Tampa Bay wins and Atlanta wins, everyone will be 8-9, but because of the head-to-head competition where Carolina is 3-0 against these two teams, Carolina will by default win the title. I have an article for that I will actually display from CBS Sports so you guys could read among it. And like I said, Atlanta makes things very interesting. Also in the NFL, here was a couple of interesting notes that I took away earlier today that I don't know if you guys knew of. But depending on the outcome of Carolina's game, the Jaguars, the Panthers, and the Texans didn't exist 31 years in the NFL. Yet, with a Carolina clinch, they would all make it to the playoffs together for the very first time in NFL history. I don't want you to misunderstand that. So, the Jaguars, the Panthers, and the Texans, over the last 31 years of the NFL since they've been established into the league, have not all three of them together in the same year made it to a postseason. With Carolina, if they clinch this weekend, it will be the first time in history that they will do so. Heading into Week 18, none of the 7 seeds in the AFC has been clinched yet. The only seed in the NFC has been clinched by the Green Bay Packers, and that is the 7th seed. So so we have teams, we know who's going to be in the postseason. We don't know where their placement as among the seeding. The only thing that is certain is that the Green Bay Packers are the number 7 seed in the NFC. For the second straight year, Sam Darnold will be playing in Week 18 with the number 1 seed in the NFC on the line. Seattle is hoping that this year goes much better than last year in Minnesota. Sam Darnold going to be in the spotlight. He takes on, Seahawks takes on the Niners. We've explained how that playoff picture works. The winner of the Seahawks 49ers game should and will get the number 1 seed. If the Niners win, they get the number 1 seed. The Seahawks will get the number 5 seed. But if the Seahawks win and the 49ers lose, it comes down to the Rams. If they win, they will be the number 5 seed, and San Francisco will be the number 6 seed. But if they will lose, it will be Seattle number 1, San Francisco number 5, and Los Angeles number 6. Therefore, when you look at the schedule ahead of us, okay, on Saturday night's game on ABC, 8 o'clock kickoff, Seahawks and 49ers, the Rams will know how they will know the outcome of what they will need to do heading into their game against the Cardinals Sunday afternoon. And I say that because, we think about the injuries that has been lurking Los Angeles this season in the Rams. We know about Matthew Stafford, and maybe he needs a week off. Maybe they rest their starters if they already know, hey, we're going to be in the 6th seed no matter what. So how do they know that? San Francisco wins. If San Francisco wins on Saturday, then they know no matter what the outcome is against their game against the Cardinals this Sunday, they will be in the 6th seed. Maybe that will convince them to, hey, let's rest some starters because we're going to go play the number 3 seed. Right now, as the table looks, the Philadelphia Eagles have the number 3 seed. But if San Francisco loses, 49ers may want to consider, hey, can I pull off a victory against the Cardinals? Maybe we play our starters, get our lead, and then back off, knowing that if we could win the game and replace our seedings with the 49ers in the number 5th seed, we'd be going to Carolina or even Tampa Bay and facing the AFC South in that aspect. So strategy here, right? Especially for the Rams, but they have that upper advantage knowing, hey, what's going to be the outcome of all that moving forward. They could also be facing the Bears too in the number 6 seed as well. The Jaguars need to beat the Titans to win the division. Okay? In order to win the AFC South, the Jaguars will need a win. It should be pretty easy, considering that the Titans are 3-12, or 3-12, or 3-13, excuse me. If they lose, Texans have a chance to win the title with a win over the Colts, who just have not been the same teams, especially since Daniel Jones went out. Now, it doesn't go to discredit what Phillip Rivers has done, and maybe there wasn't, maybe there was a better choice. I don't know. I thought that was in fan favorite of that choice there, but, Jaguars hold the faith in their hands this Sunday. Last but not least, the Chargers and the Broncos do battle this weekend. It's not going to be for the title thanks to the Chargers' loss last week, but the question would be, does this warrant time for the Chargers to rest some players? Just think about this. Let's remember, Justin Herbert has been playing for 4 consecutive weeks with a broken hand. A week off, at least a half a game off, will probably do him some good. When you look at the AFC wild card here, the Bills, the Chargers, the Texans, they're all sitting at 11-5. So if the Chargers kind of sit out the Broncos, you're thinking maybe the Broncos are even going to be resting some starters. Could all lead to maybe placement, depending how the Bills outcome game, occurs, depending how the Texans game occurs here. So, what are you risking? Are you risking to play the Steelers or the Ravens, the Jaguars or the Texans, the Patriots coming up in the wild card game? So there's a lot to think about heading into Week 18 in the NFL. But this has been a really exciting, I know the build up to all this has been conclusive, but it's been really fun and exciting to watch the NFL and trying to just map out, well, who's in and who's out. All right, real quick, Bowl 19, the week of. We have a lot of great matchups. I'm going to kind of review just a few of them as we have a handful of them playing today. Coastal Carolina, Louisiana Tech is facing each other on ESPN at the Independence Bowl. At 5:30 tonight, we have Tennessee takes on Illinois at the Music City Bowl. And then tonight at 9 p.m., the Alamo Bowl as USC takes on TCU. Wednesday, we have a handful of matchups as the Real Quest Bowl, Iowa takes on Vanderbilt. Arizona State takes on Duke in the Sun Bowl. Then we roll right into college football playoffs. Michigan versus Texas at the Citrus Bowl. Then we have Cotton Bowl with Miami and Ohio State at 7:30. We also got the Las Vegas Bowl between Nebraska and Utah. College football playoffs continue into the new year on January 1st. We got the Orange Bowl where Oregon takes on Texas Tech, and then the Rose Bowl, Alabama takes on Indiana. That will continue into other bowl games. The Sugar Bowl, as Ole Miss will take on Georgia. On Friday, we will see Rice take on Texas State at the Armed Forces Bowl. Navy versus Cincinnati, my intrigued one to watch. Liberty Bowl takes on at the Liberty Bowl on Friday at 4:30 p.m. Arizona and SMU on the Holiday Bowl. And then we'll see Wake Forest take on Mississippi State at the Duke Mayo Bowl. Those are your bowl games and your college football playoffs. We will dive a little bit more into our predictions tomorrow as we get ready for our new year. End of year, new year episode, all that fun stuff here. All right. I want to finish off the podcast today, kind of provide you a little bit of a Reds update. They've kind of made some moves this holiday season. Nothing too spectacular, nothing that warrant us to stop what we're doing and give you a podcast. But the Reds are making some moves in their outfield position over the last couple of days. The Reds signed infielder Michael Chavez to a minor league deal. Last time he played in the majors were 2023, where he played for the Washington Nationals. Last year, he was under the Dodgers Association, playing under their AAA affiliates. He batted .291 with 13 home runs, with 45 RBIs, with 45 runs. He's a 30-year-old infielder looking to provide depth in the minor league system. Earlier this Christmas break, J.J. Bleday was picked up from the Reds off the free agent market. He signed with a 1-year, $2.4 million contract as an outfielder, providing left-handed batting depth. Bleday batted .214, hit 14 home runs with 39 RBIs last season with the Athletics. In return, we had to free up from 40-man roster spot as we released pitcher Keegan Thompson. The age of 30, Thompson threw for averages about 3.64 ERA last season in AAA. He pitched with an ERA of 4.43. The Reds also made an acquisition with a trade earlier this holiday break, as we sent Ethan O'Darnell to the Marlins in exchange for outfielder Dan Myers. Myers with the Marlins batted .235, provided 6 home runs, and 23 RBI, 23 RBIs. We also released Lyon Richardson, who pitched 454. So, nothing impressive, nothing blockbuster talking about, but the Reds are trying to add to their depth in the outfield. Now, one thing we'll probably do tomorrow is take a look at where the roster lies today, but we're making room from some new names to be on this roster, whether it's in the minor leagues or the major leagues level. I don't get excited over these names because, as I mentioned, they're not blockbuster. I see an average of 214 or 235, and I'm just saying, okay. I hear a name of J.J. Bleday and Dan Myers, and I'm sure in their past team, wherever they chose to play for, they were a good athlete. I don't question. They probably were beloved, and I respect that. But who are they? And what do they contribute to the Reds organization? Was it really worth $1.5 million to bring in JJ, even though he provides a left-handed at bat? You know, I'm kind of sticky in this type of field because I support the new team, the new image, the new look, a new opportunity. And this Great American Ballpark is a hitter's friendly ballpark. But we pick up guys that I don't even know, that hardly have statistics, and you don't know them. I mean, there's not much to report on JJ Bleday. There's nothing to report on Dane Myers. And so I'm kind of trying to scramble and try to figure out how I can elevate this conversation and bring some sort of excitement to the table of the two players we picked up that is supposed to make an impact on this roster. And then you look at the two guys that we got rid of, Keegan Thompson and Lyon Richardson. Now, I don't know where they've been. I haven't seen them play in the major leagues. Last time I saw or heard anything about Keegan Thompson, I remember him playing, wasn't it for the Chicago Cubs? And he was actually on the major league roster. Lyon Richardson was one of these younger developing prospects that I think the Reds gave up on, fair to say. You have Andrew Abbott. You're still holding on to Brandon Williams. But I'm really trying to find something in deep to promote these guys. And like I said, it has nothing to do with their skills, nothing to do with who they are, what they're about. But they're not no Kyle Tucker. They're not no Cody Bellinger. They're not Alex Bregman. And more reports lurk around Cincinnati Reds front office as they intend to still continue to build their outfield depth, but it's going to now have to go through via trades. And one of the locations that the Reds were interested in trading in would be their rotation, as they feel they are well depth in their starting rotation. As of right now, last time I saw, we had Brady Singer, Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo, Andrew Abbott, and I forgot the fifth guy's name off the top of my head. We got 6 out of 8 solid relief pitchers right now, hoping that they stay healthy with Emilio Pagan as our closer and still room for 2 more slots. But I've seen this time and time before where teams, small market teams, small budget teams, pick up scraps and leftovers from what talented contenders throw out there for them. I just saw right before the holidays, Jeff McNeil, an infielder for the New York Mets, being traded over to the Athletics. And I just ask myself, why couldn't that be us? I have not heard since the winter meetings any further updates or rumors about guys like Ketel Marte. We already know Brandon Lowe went over to Pittsburgh. But what about Ketel Marte? Is that an unreasonable trade? I get upset about these type of transactions because you know what it doesn't provide for us. And I feel that the Reds don't care about progressing forward and making that effort. I'm not asking to sign the next 10 players to $100 million contracts guaranteed. I'm asking us to really look and see who not only fits what this organization is trying to do, but it can back it up and support and kind of be that star power that we need to help. So, welcome to Cincinnati, JJ Bleday and Dan Myers. I'm excited to see you at spring training. Not sarcastically, I'm sincerely excited to see them show up to spring training, be a part of this organization, and help us win ball games. I hope that they are impactful and they can give us a couple extra wins to separate us from non-contingent teams. I hope they provide well enough depth on defensively, as right now it only shows that Noelvi Marte, TJ Friedel, and Will Benson's out there. So I'm assuming these guys are coming off the bench. Maybe they become daily players, but I'm sure that they will provide defense abilities that we will be excited about. I hope that collectively we could see a plate aggressiveness from these players. But I just want you two to know, coming from here, coming from the TNC Sports Talk, is that if that stuff does not happen, if you guys fail miserably or come up short, I just want you two to know, JJ Bleday and Dane Myers, that it's not your fault. And that I applaud and I will give my acknowledgement to what you guys were able to do. But it's not your fault. I'm going to point the blame to Nick Krall. I'm going to point the blame to the Castellinis. Because because you two are just coming in here doing your job the best you can. Maybe that's a D plus, maybe that's a C, hell, maybe that's a B minus. I don't know until I see you in Cincinnati. But all I'm saying is that if it falls, it's not your fault. Pick yourself up, back up, and try again. I'm blaming our Nick Krall and Bob Castellini. And if there's any other podcasters, sports talk, that's talking about the Reds right now and going head over heels for JJ Bleday, thinking, hey, he's our missing piece, I invite you to come on our show and talk with me, and please try to find a way to make me believe that this is our guy in the outfield. Please. Because I've seen this team. I've seen the players that we've had that we thought were good, weren't good. Don't tell me that this is a good deal. Don't tell me that you're satisfied. The only reason why we should tolerate something like this is because this is what's expected in Cincinnati. I could hear the rumors left and right and left all the time. I could hear it all when it comes to, oh, well, the rumors has it that the Reds are interested in X, Y, and Z. It's hard to get excited when that's all we've done this offseason. All offseason long, we have talked about the Reds rumors, the conversations of what could have been. We could have had Kyle Schwarber. We were $25 million short. We could have had Pete Dunne. I have not seen any report other than early offseason rumors that we were interested in the first baseman. We could have had Ketel Marte. But other than the winter meetings, I haven't seen anything done. We are banking off of the guys who got us by last year, which was barely. We mismanaged the utilization of these players, especially in Elly De La Cruz. Great Terry Francona, he took accountability, understanding and acknowledged that he needed to strategize better, but we needed him in that lineup every day. But this Reds team is not taking us to a division championship, is not taking us to a World Series, at least not without a few additional pieces that are better than our top player. And right now, I think it's either Elly De La Cruz or Hunter Green. But, you know, we're less than 48 hours away from a new calendar year. Maybe 2026 will shine a whole new light on what, you know, offseason could finish looking up with. We have about 6 to 8 weeks or 6 to 7 weeks before spring training reports. Baseball is going to be underway before we know it. I just hope that what we see out of these players are something that a little bit better than what we see on paper, because 214 batting average isn't nothing. I don't care how many home runs you hit. But hey, I encourage you guys to head on over to our social media pages, follow in all those stories, get involved in the conversations. I want to hear what you guys have to say and think. Look, I'm not perfect. I think I've said that plenty of times, but you know, I post stuff based off of what I know, based off of my opinions. They may not be the most elaborate opinions, to say the least, but I do my best. My point is I love those feedbacks. I've been posting a lot on TikTok. I appreciate your guys' comments and getting into the conversations on our YouTube page, Facebook, and this and that. One more episode tomorrow to wrap up this 2025 year. We will take a look at the Reds roster, take a look at the college football playoffs, get you guys ready for Week 18, the final week of the NFL season. We will also kind of give you a reflection of 2025 on our YouTube channel, everything that we have grown and seen, and so much more. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Can't do this without you guys. Be sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe button for more information. Don't forget to have those notifications on so you don't miss a single episode. But that's all the time I have for you guys. Until tomorrow, you guys stay safe, stay warm. It's gotten cold really quickly. And we will see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day.